"Hey, hon," Regina said, walking into the bathroom, shedding her underwear. "How was your day?" Larry stepped out of the shower, sawing his back with a burgundy velvet bath towel.
"It was okay. How was yours?"
Regina leaned over and pecked him on the lips. "It was a typical Friday, but I'm glad the weekend has finally gotten here. It was a long week." Larry finished drying himself off, moved in front of the double mirror, picked up his blue plastic razor, and began edging his mustache.
"I know what you mean. It was a long week for me as well. I don't know when I've had so many meetings and so many insurance claims to review. Oh, by the way, Ted and I are going out to his boss's house again to play poker. Shouldn't be gone too late, though. I hope you don't mind."
Where did that shit come from? He hadn't mentioned going anywhere when she'd spoken with him at work. She'd assumed this Friday evening would be no different than any other. They would go to dinner, see a movie, and make love like two wild animals when they returned home. He had gone to play cards each of the 2 previous Fridays, but this once-every-week thing was a little more than she was willing to put up with, and it was starting to piss her off. Regina placed her right hand on her hip, the way black women do when they intend to get their point across. "And what am I supposed to do, sitting here all by myself on a Friday evening? This is the 3rd week in a row. Here I am, thinking you're about to take me out to a nice restaurant, and you're in here getting ready to hang out with Ted. We haven't gone anywhere together in 2 weeks, and I'm getting sick of this."
"We can go to the movies tomorrow, right?"
"Do I have a choice? It sounds to me like you've already made your plans for the evening anyway," she said, staring straight at him. Larry rinsed off the razor, then his face.
"Look, Regina, ever since we started dating 3 years ago, I've pretty much spent every single Friday evening with you. So why is it such a crime for me to go play cards one night a week? I don't see why you're making such a big deal out of this."
Regina was puzzled, but she had to admit that he was right, at least for the most part, because he had pretty much spent every Friday night with her since the day they'd gotten married. The only problem was, she didn't see anything wrong with it continuing. They were married, and that was what married people did, spend time together, not go their separate ways like 2 single individuals with no ties to each other. If he wanted to hang out with his unmarried friends and play the little bachelor role, then he should have never asked her to marry him. He'd had no problem with spending all of his time with her before, and she couldn't help but wonder what was going on now. Come to think of it, he'd been canceling their lunch dates as well, claiming he had too much work to do, and then working an unusual amount of overtime in the evenings and on the weekends. Maybe he was starting to feel caught up. Maybe he needed his freedom to do whatever he wanted. Maybe he longed to be with someone else. They'd only been married 2 years, but hell, he was acting like he already had the 7-year itch and needed a nice, long scratch. Right now she felt like giving it to him. But Regina knew her imagination was working overtime, because with the exception of Larry leaving his clothes lying around for her to pick up, he was a good husband and a wonderful provider. She told herself he was only playing cards, and probably just wanted to do that male bonding thing that most men claimed they needed to do. Her secretary's husband hooked up with his friends every Thursday for what he called a guy's night out, so what was wrong with Larry wanting to go out every now and then with Ted? The answer was obvious. Absolutely nothing. She didn't know why she was being so silly. "I don't see anything wrong with you going out every now and then, but it's just that I've sat at home alone for 2 Friday nights straight, and I'm really disappointed. I just wish you had told me earlier so I wouldn't have gotten my heart set on spending some time with you."
"We'll do something tomorrow, I promise."
He dried his face and kissed her on the forehead as he walked out of the bathroom. Regina presented him with a bogus smile, stepped into the shower, and turned it on. The soothing hot water running across her body felt so relaxing that she stood there for 5 whole minutes with no display of movement. She wished it would never end, but she could already feel the water slowly starting to cool down. There was only so much hot water available when she and Larry took long, steamy showers, one right after the other. Regina shut off the water and reached for her coral pink bath towel. She walked out.